put a thing on Facebook here. Rob and I are going live.
Yay!
So it's just on Hangouts, or will this be on YouTube?
It'll be on YouTube.
Okay. So where is spelling is fun.
What the hell? All right. Yeah, okay, there we go. We're live.
Yay, we're live.
Oh my God. Okay, cool deal. Technical difficulties.
Well, now, like I said, now I know how the Mummy and the Monkey feel.
Yeah.
Especially like when they come on Friday nights and they're like the pictures on, but you can't see them or you can't hear them, and everybody's like typing in just like, Mike, can't hear you. Turn your mic on.
Dude, I've been in live streams where that happens, but yeah. So anyway, welcome back to Comic Book Rob channel. Welcome back to Nerd Culture Clash. Anybody that's going to be watching this later, because there's nobody in chat right now, obviously. We didn't do it last week because I was sick. I felt like crap, and I still feel like crap, but I'm actually alive, so good enough.
Oh, the channel is Comic Book Bob?
Yeah, CBB, Comic Book Bob, because I'm a basic dude.
Say all one word or just
no, you should be able to just type. It should be you can split it up like normal.
Comic Book Bob.
Yeah,
on YouTube. That's where we
actually,
are right now.
Actually, hang on a second. I'll give you a link to this actual. Hang on a minute. Stop it. Close that.
Even gave it a nice color, so it looks like something to look at.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it. I'll put a link in the chat here, and you can just send it to use that.
Oh, where's the chat on this thing? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yep. Just copy that link, throw it in there, and then he'll just come right to it. But yeah. So I got a couple of things. There's a couple of news stories that came up. We're going to talk about the founder of CrossGen Comics, Mark Alessi, passing away. We're also going to talk about Marvel. Obviously, we're going to talk about Marvel because they dropped another trailer for Avengers Endgame today. And but also I wanted to talk about their Phase 4 plans going forward, because Avengers Endgame effectively ends Phase 3. So Phase 4 starts with, I believe, Spider-Man Far From Home, and then everything else going forward from there. Also talk about a couple other things. I know Netflix renewed the Umbrella Academy for Season 2. And a few things about the shows on DC's streaming network. But Arnett, how was your week, man?
Pretty good. Nothing to complain about too much. Had a slow weekend, no derby. So this week I'm going down to Columbus, and I get to watch, so that'll be fun.
Are you not going to referee anything?
Not reffing, NSO. That's just being technical with you there, but
whatever, man.
Yeah, I don't wear stripes. I wear solid colors. So, but yeah, I'm not working. So, because it's always fun when you're like NSOing and you're doing stuff and you look at the scoreboard and like, what the hell? When did that happen? So, but got some friends that went. You should go, Rob. You should go.
I keep meaning to, and then stuff keeps coming up. Like this weekend, I completely forgot about it, but Frank bought tickets for us to go see the Indians home opener a couple months ago, and I completely forgot about it. And he calls me up on Thursday, like, "You ready to go?" And I'm like, "Huh? What? Yeah, sure, man." And it's like I don't remember any of this.
But I don't know. I don't think I know Frank on Facebook, but I know you on Facebook. That's why I got that picture of you, because you were tagged in it.
Yeah.
So it
Who's
was like,
who's the other guy that was like, Frank, you know Tom? I'm like, what?
oh, I thought that was you. I'll have to go back and look at that then.
No. There's a dude who posted in there. He's like, Frank, you know Tom? I'm like, what? Who? What? I
Oh,
don't know any of this.
I'll have to go back and look at that then. So, because yeah, I thought it was you. It was like,
Nope.
I thought it
But
was weird because I'm like, yeah, Rob, you know, I know Frank.
yeah,
So,
we've hung out for the last 20 years. But
so
yeah, so like I was saying earlier, one of the things that happened, unfortunately, over the last week was that the founder of CrossGen Comics, Mark Alessi, passed away. There's still, from the time that we're recording this, there's still not any details on what he passed away from, because from what I understand, he wasn't really that old. You know, he was he made a bunch of money years ago, and then he's at the found CrossGen back in 1998, and they started publishing about 2000. And they were originally the whole idea behind creating CrossGen was he wanted to be a rival to Marvel, which is not a bad thing. And the books that they did were mostly, they didn't do a whole lot of superhero comic stuff. They did mostly sci-fi fantasy. And he's also the guy, I don't know if you've ever been to MegaCon, based in Orlando. I've never been to it. I've heard of it, but I've never been to it. I didn't realize this, but he actually owned that as well. That was actually a part of the whole. In fact, he bought it specifically to promote CrossGen back in the day. I didn't realize that. And I think MegaCon is still going on to this day.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody. I don't think it's associated with MegaCon or anything anymore, because MegaCon eventually went out of business because of a lot of internal strife and whatnot. And they were actually, you know, ironically, they were bought by Marvel back in, I believe it was 2004. And I think Marvel even went so far as to resolicit the books for a while under a completely new, like they did it as a separate brand for a little bit, and then they just killed it, and they've never touched it again ever since, which is kind of unfortunate, because some of the stuff from CrossGen was pretty good. The book that I only read one book religiously from them. It was called Sigil. And
it sounds familiar.
Yeah, and more the main reason I bought it, and I'm going to be completely honest here, is because of the artwork. Two of my favorite artists, Bart Sears and Alex Smith, worked on that book, and I primarily bought it because of their artwork. But the stories and stuff, the characters and the stories were actually pretty cool. It's basically the closest. It's almost like a modern pantheon of gods. Like, you know, not an established pantheon like the Olympians or anything like that, but it was like an entirely new pantheon of gods that were basically warring against each other. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so it sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. You can still find like you can find most of the issues in like the dollar bin, quarter bin and stuff. So if you ever get a chance to, just check it out. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. I talked to a couple of the few pros that I know who actually did some work with him or actually knew him, and the impression I got was that he was a really upstanding guy, really passionate about it, and really wanted to make something good, make something different than Marvel, you know, to challenge Marvel, which Marvel needs a good challenger, man, because
they're kind of on top of it right now, especially with the movies.
That's the problem, though, man, that they're basically the, you know, forget being the 500-pound gorilla. They're the 500-ton gorilla right now. They're just murdering everybody. But yeah, well, and yeah, nice little segue. Speaking of Marvel, so yeah, but yeah, it's too bad. Another one gone. But speaking of Marvel, like I said, there was a interesting story that coming out that Marvel Studios looking forward to new different titles and different brands after Avengers Endgame, because Avengers Endgame is the official end of Phase 3.
Phase 3.
It's basically in the end of phase 3, and phase 3 is essentially the end of the beginning of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting from 10 years ago. This is literally, not to be, no pun intended. This is the end game. This is the culmination of that 10-year period. And looking forward, a couple of different things have been coming out that Marvel's looking at. Now, the movies that they have slated so far are Spider-Man Far From Home, which is going to be the official start of phase 4. And that's going to be out in July of this year. There isn't another movie again until 2020. As it stands right now, unless they do something weird and they drop something that
something up, move something up, or if Spider-Man's the only one scheduled for the rest of the year, that's
yeah. And then there isn't another one again until 2020, and I believe that one is Black Widow is the next one. And then
really,
yeah, Black Widow is the next one, I believe. Actually, let me double check and make sure I'm not talking out my ass here, because I do that a lot.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is the end of phase 3. Yeah. Have they announced any plans beyond phase 4?
Yes.
Beyond that. So
they've announced. They've indicated that they're planning things out all the way to phase 5. They haven't announced them yet. Now, a lot of people are saying, that's some of the stuff, like pretty much things that they haven't announced that are almost a given is there's going to be a Captain Marvel 2 because the damn thing just made $1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. There's going to be an Avengers 5 because
Avengers.
Yeah. And there's almost certainly within the next 2 or 3 years, there's going to be a Fantastic Four movie, because that franchise opens up so many possibilities for them as far as the villains that can be used, the entire Celestial Pantheon thing that goes on within it. I honestly think the plan going forward is that the next big bad is going to be Galactus. That to me is it's the logical progression from Thanos.
Because that's a hell of a big bad. So
yeah, because Thanos is like
it's a freaking Titan.
Yeah, taking out the celestial, taking out all the godlike characters, he's the big threat. So the next step up is obviously to go to one of those guys. Now, they could possibly go to another character that's on Thanos' level, which would be Dr. Doom. But I think Doom is going to be more
a Fantastic Four bad guy.
I think he's going to be more the Loki character. He's going to be the catalyst that gets the ball rolling towards Galactus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the role he's going to fill. He's going to be he's going to be the big bad guy for a movie, for maybe probably not the next Avengers movie, but maybe the one after that. But I don't think he's going to be the super uber villain
the boss.
Right. But getting back to the movies that are the ones that we know they're doing. We know obviously Spider-Man Far From Home, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is going to happen now. Black Widow
and Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Widow, The Eternals, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2, and the one that has me kind of going, is Shang-Chi. Now, Shang-Chi's a cool character.
Shang-Chi's the guy from Doctor Strange, right?
No. Shang-Chi is he comes from the Daredevil mythology. He's basically regarded as the greatest martial artist in the world.
Okay.
He's one of those type of characters. He's a more street level grounded character.
He's just a human that is super, not a superhuman.
Yeah, he's in that, like, that Batman, Daredevil, Punisher kind of thing. He's a normal human, but he's a badass.
Okay.
And he usually shows up in, like I said, in stories with like Daredevil or the Punisher, the Heroes for Hire stuff like Iron Fist, things like that.
With the other meat.
I don't know exactly how he's going to fit into the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe thing, I mean, it's not that it isn't possible, but I get the feeling there's going to be a little bit of a tie-in with either maybe maybe Black Panther or maybe Black Widow, possibly Doctor Strange. But I'm interested to see how they do it because I do like that character though. I think he's really cool. He's kind of like Bruce Lee on steroids.
I say this is also a way to really get your Asian fan base involved.
Well, hey man, they've said that they're really
I mean,
big on getting China involved. So
yeah, and that'll be a real catalyst for that.
That'll definitely do it. But he's actually a cool character. He's one of those characters that you don't really know that much about, but whenever he shows up, you're like, oh, that's really cool. So that's one of the movies that's on the slate. Now, like I said, the ones that they haven't announced them yet, but they're almost definitely going to is going to be Captain Marvel 2, Avengers 5. Like I said, I think there's going to be a Fantastic Four tie in there. I don't think the X-Men are going to be that integral to what's going to go on. As far as phase 4, I think they're going to be a little more involved in perhaps phase 5.
No, excuse me. I know they're all in the same license now, but are they actually going to bring them all together like that? Or are we just going to have more or less like
the plan
cameos in entire movies, not just a like, oh, there's Wolverine walking down the street kind of thing? Just,
I think here's the way I think they're going to handle it. I think it's going to be certain characters from the X-Men are going to do some crossing over stuff. But I think the general whole is that they're going to exist in the same universe.
Does not have a lot to do with each other.
They might kind of talk to each other every once in a while, but they're not really going to have a lot to do with it. I think the characters that are probably going to have the most to do with the mainstream Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be, well, one, it's going to be Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine's going to cross over into a lot of stuff. Storm may cross over into Black Panther because they did have a relationship. There might be some stuff with Captain Marvel involving Rogue and perhaps Jean Grey, considering that one of the big storylines was with the Phoenix Saga, the Dark Phoenix Saga, was the fact that the Kree were trying to the Shi'ar were trying to kill her. And the Kree were also very terrified of her as well. So the whole Dark Phoenix thing, but that's the thing though. It's because of what's going on with X-Men right now, that's going to make things really convoluted going forward.
Yeah. Well, that's also kind of a problem that they're having with Fantastic Four, is they had two Fantastic Four movies, tried to reboot it with oh my God, what the hell was that movie? So you're really on bad footing with them.
The problem, here's the thing though, and pretty much everybody knows this, the only reason that they made that last Fantastic Four movie was because they didn't want to lose the license. That's literally the only reason they made it. They basically said, okay, we have to make one of these movies every 4 years. And well, one of these movies has to be in production at least every 4 years, if I'm remembering this correctly. So after that abortion of a movie that came out, they were like, okay, we need to put this into production. And that's where that Fan Four Stick piece of crap came from.
Yeah, because that was
oh God, it was bad.
Admittedly, I haven't seen it, but I have had no reason to see that whatsoever. I mean, the previews were that bad. I've heard nothing at all good about it at all.
Yeah, I watched a grand total of like 30 minutes of it, and I couldn't take it. I really couldn't. I was just like, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. So I dumped it. Now,
I was going to say, hey, I actually sat through Highlander 2 in the movie theater. I almost walked out. I was really like, WTF, like right there in the theater. Like,
no, this was as bad as Highlander 2 was.
Wow,
this was worse. I would rather sit through a 6-hour marathon of Highlander 2 back to back to back and watch that movie again. It was that bad.
Oh God, that's a real eye poker.
Oh, dude, yeah, I'd rather get stabbed in the eye with a friggin' splintered broom handle. But it'd be about as painful. But yeah, but between now, yeah, so that's where phase 4 looks like it's heading, but we're not even gonna get to look at phase 4 until 2020. So I don't know whether people are gonna like freak out a little bit. There's gonna be a lot of non-Marvel. But I mean, there's other movies coming out that are Marvel movies, but just not part of the MCU. They've got Morbius, which the whole thing with the Spider-Man villains having their own movies, I don't quite understand it. You know, I watched Venom. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It was okay.
I mean, I can see Venom having his own movie to a large extent, but
what they're trying to do is they realize nobody wants to see a Spider-Man movie from Sony that isn't in the vein of something like Into the Spider-Verse. Something fun, something quirky, you know, animated.
Something Saturday morning.
Yeah, if it's not that, they don't want to see another Sony Spider-Man movie. Mainstream Spider-Man movie. They don't want to see it again. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to build a universe around
the Spider-Man universe. So they're going to have bad guy movies.
I think they're trying to build a universe around Venom.
Oh, okay.
They're replacing Spider-Man with Venom. And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work. But I mean, like I said, I thought Venom was going to be an absolute car wreck. It ended up being okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. And who knows, maybe Morbius will be more the same. But the idea shouldn't be to try to make okay. You want to make fantastic. And I can tell you right now, the only reason that the Venom movie did as well as it did was because of the Venom fans. The Venom fans wanted that movie
so much.
They wanted a version of him that wasn't an absolute abortion.
Yeah,
like the one that they got in Spider-Man 3. So the fact that they got mediocre was like, you know, it's better than
we'll take it. We'll take it. It's a win. It's a win.
Hamburger is better than shit. So, but then you got the last X-Men movie. You got Dark Phoenix coming out, which I think looks terrible. And then you've got the poor New Mutants movie that the New Mutants movie actually had me intrigued. But that thing has gone into development hell so quickly.
Because I would say I've not heard of this yet. So
there's a trailer out for it that was out last year, the beginning, like this time last year, because the movie was supposed to be out like Christmas of last year.
Ooh, that's not good.
And it just got pushed back, and now they're like, we don't even know if this movie is going to be released.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a completed movie that they don't even know if they're going to friggin' put it out because it's that bad, or that it's that broken or whatever. And it's got pretty good sized stars in it, man. It's got Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones in it. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's going to be a big empty hole that needs to be filled. There's gonna be a lot of people there jonesing. So, but yeah, that's what it looks like going for. Well, oh yeah, the character that they were talking about bringing in, which makes me kind of go, huh, is Deathlock, not Death Clock, Deathlock. Yeah, if they brought in Death Clock, that'd be amazing. Nathan explosion. But no, the character Deathlock, which that character or a really crappy version of him showed up on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, which makes me wonder, well, if they do bring that character into the MCU, are you going to use that version, which wasn't very good, or are they going to go with the more traditional version, which was a lot cooler? So, like I said, like right now, Marvel realizes they've got access to most of their crap now.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of weird stuff getting thrown around, but I don't know, man. Some of the news that comes out makes me It's just like that video I did where I talked about the pros and cons of Fox being absorbed into Disney.
Yeah.
There's some good things about it, but there's a lot of potential damage. So we're gonna see. But yeah, that's where Marvel is at right now, as far as I'm aware. On another comic book related topic, Netflix has renewed the Umbrella Academy for season 2. Did you watch the Netflix series?
I have not seen it.
You haven't seen it? Okay,
No.
you need to watch it because it's Umbrella Academy. Is that? Have you ever read the book? Have you read
I haven't. I always wanted to. It's one of those things I'm always going, through the previews
Yeah.
going, I should get that.
Yeah, it's right up your alley, dude. It's weird. It's just, I mean, one of the dudes has a friggin' Martian 8 body. Okay, he gets his head transplanted onto a Martian 8 body. So come on, it's what are we talking about here, man?
You've got my interest.
It's Umbrella Academy was one of those books that was it reminded me of the heyday of the independent scene when just the weirdest crap would come out. And I mean, stuff like back in, like, now today, everyone's like, oh, this is awesome. But back in the day, like when Hellboy came out, everyone was like, what is this crap?
This is weird.
Yeah, like most mainstream people would read Hellboy and they're like, what am I reading? But Umbrella Academy, the book was weird, but it was cool. The first season was better than I was expecting it to be. They dialed the weirdness down a little bit, actually. For instance, the whole Martian 8 body thing and everything, they have a different story for that, as well as the way some of their powers work. Like Allison's, Allison, aka the Rumor, the way her power works, she's a lot more powerful, it seems, in the comic than she is in the show. She can still make people do things, but it's less like she's in complete control of them and more like
she suggests to them.
She has the power of suggestion, yeah.
Oh, maybe it's just room to grow. So
yeah, and then also Klaus, like Klaus, they never go into the whole telekinetic power that he has in the book. He had, well, obviously the show does do his ability to talk to the dead, but he also has this, like, he's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful member of the group. He has crazy level telekinesis. Like, he stops a freaking asteroid from hitting the Earth. Like a giant asteroid's going to hit the Earth. He stops it. That's how powerful his telekinesis is. So they made a lot of changes, but the overall storyline was actually pretty good. It's still kind of weird, and the guy who plays Nathan I really like that guy. Remember that show I used to talk about, the Misfits?
Yes.
Yeah, he plays the main character. He plays one of the characters under Nathan, I think is actually his name. I think is Nathan.
Convenient.
But he was really funny. God, he was so funny on that show. And he's really funny in this as well. But he's also like the screw up of the family and everything. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not surprised that it got a season 2. It was pretty well received. But yeah, it's definitely worth taking a look at. Ellen Page is actually she's probably the most important character in the show, but she's also probably the least interesting, which is unfortunate because she plays the white violin.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the few changes they did I didn't like. I don't like how they beat her at the end. I like the way they did in the comics better.
Yeah, well, you also have to look at, would that have translated well? Is one thing you got to look at, because TVs, movies, comic books are completely different mediums, and some things that are really good in one just don't translate well.
Yeah.
So, like there are, like when you're playing a tabletop game.
Yeah.
Good example of, you can have a fight that, goes on forever and you're just really not doing anything and you're like, we're just trading blows, blah, 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 blah. We spent a whole session doing this. Well, we won at the end, so I guess that's kind of cool. But however, cinematically, that fight is freaking awesome because you are just literally beating the crap out of each other, for an hour. It's an epic fight. Would look much better on the screen than it does, rolling dice. And there are a lot of things that from books to movies, to comic books, then even TV and movies are different. Especially TV has a lot more time constraints on it. So
yeah,
some things don't translate well.
That's not really the reason. For the reason why I said that it doesn't translate very well. The way they stop her in the book absolutely translates well.
But was it already set up in the series to be that way?
Yes.
Okay, then
it's the way they stop her is similar, but it's different.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. It's one of those things where what's the best way to this? I don't want to give it. I don't want to say anything about it because I don't want to give it away. It's one of those things where I think the reason they did it was less because it wouldn't work and more because they just didn't want people to be upset with them. Because I definitely think there would be some people that would be like, "Oh my God, this is it would create some outrage." And I think that's the reason why they did it.
Why did you do that? It's the way it was in the book. But why did you do that?
Whatever. But yeah, and again, I understand that I'm a purist when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't like it when they change things just to change them. Yeah, because I'm a comic book nerd. That's the way I am. But I get it, and like I said, the show was good enough that it gets a second season. It's going to be interesting to see how far they try to take this, though, because the storylines, the book is still being done right now.
Mm-hmm.
That I think they're going to be basing season 2 on. So it's kind of like a George R.R. Martin thing, where it's like, oh, the show's going to end and the other book isn't even out yet. Yeah. So it's going to be one of those things.
Yeah, my opinion on that one.
Yeah, so. we're gonna have to do a stream at some point about your opinions on Game of Thrones. I need to get you into a stream with Mike S. Miller, because Mike actually, for the graphic novels of Game of Thrones and Dunk and Egg and all those, Mike actually did the covers and some of the internal art for various issues. Cool. And he got all of his stuff right from George R.R. Martin. He has George R.R. Martin on speed dial.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So, and Mike actually had a stream he was doing for a while called the Night's Watch, where he was discussing, they started at season 1 and they were discussing things, and he would talk about how when he was working on those graphic novels, he would ask George, does this work? George R.R. Martin was really, really, really specific about the things he wanted.
Yeah.
And at one point, Mike actually took a little bit of liberty and did his own interpretation of Jaime Lannister. And one of the things from the books, the elements from the book is, what's the name of that knight that Jaime idolized? The guy who gets screwed over. He's like, I could cut all of you down like knife cuts through.
Yeah, the one they forced into retirement.
Yeah,
God, I want to say it starts with a B. What the hell's his name?
I don't remember. But the physical description of that guy is in the book somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And because in the book it also says that Jaime kind of modeled himself off of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So when Mike drew Jaime, he drew him as kind of like a younger, better looking version of him. with facial hair. And George was like, no, he doesn't. And George was like, you know, very,
No,
very.
Jamie doesn't do that.
He goes, no, Jamie doesn't have facial hair. And he's like, well, he's like, I just see him. And he was like, George, like super specific about what Jamie looked like. And then that was one of the things that when Mike realized, he's like, wow, this dude has this entire world built in his head.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what everything looks like and every detail of everything.
Well, that's something that makes the Game of Thrones so awesome is, you know, it's a fleshed out world. You know that it's not one of those things where the world only exists in the scene that's going on. The whole world continues. I mean, the whole world, not just like another character is over here. You just know that the whole world keeps rotating no matter what. You know, whatever these guys are up to, there's some farmer out in his field way the hell away from here that's, you know, just doing his thing. There's
he's doing something. Yeah, like life continues.
Their life is just going on. I mean, and you know, I also read the I read the first of the Duncan Egg books, and I really liked it. Once again, it's a full world. It's you know, it's very fleshed out. It's so that's what's really good about it, and I think, the TV show's kind of lost some of that. But it's a TV show. But like I said earlier, it's a TV show. Some stuff doesn't translate well.
Yeah,
and I believe I've told you before, but I would love nothing more than like next year, and this can just be like a little side series. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be the next like, you know, ta-da thing. But I wish somebody would run a series called Old Nan Stories.
Oh yeah.
And go back and hire the woman that played Nan. And she just has to set up the story. And that the rest can just be like animated. Get another animator every week to do another and just cover the stories that she talked about. You know, embellish them a little more, get them a little more detailed, have a couple more, but just have her do that and really flesh out the world like it was in the books.
Call it like stories, like Tales from Nan or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be pretty, dude. People would probably bite on that hard.
Yeah, I personally would love that. That would be so awesome. You know, have the Stark kids, all just little kids, and her, you know, telling them that story, all the stories that because she was basically more or less how they got their history.
Yeah.
At least I don't want to say fairy tale side, but the lore side of history.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, if you get a chance to, man, I think I shared my Netflix account with you. Don't do that, kids. But yeah, check out Umbrella Academy, man. It was actually pretty cool.
Okay,
and we'll switch over to a little bit of DC here. So I don't know if you've caught any of the DC TV shows.
No, I haven't.
Titans was god awful. Titans was absolutely terrible. Doom Patrol. It again falls into that. It's so weird. It's good. Kind of neat because Doom Patrol's just strange. It's funny. It's weird. It's weird. It's bad shit.
It's strange.
It is strange. But it's fun. Like whoever is in charge of Doom Patrol should be in charge of Titans because Titans is just terrible. But the third of those shows that they're doing for the DC's online service is Swamp Thing. They're doing a Swamp Thing show. And from what I understand, they're trying to do it more like it was in the comic book, which is basically a horror book.
Okay.
Which is good. That's really good.
I haven't read a Swamp Thing comic probably since the mid-'70s.
Okay.
But I do remember liking it, and you know, once again, like you just said, it was more of a horror thing than you know, like superhero usual stuff.
Yeah, that's really the way they need to do that too, man. It needs to be just creepy and strange.
Yeah, because he's a big swamp plant monster thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he well, and later, like you don't find out this out until much later on, obviously, but he's basically the earth elemental of the earth. He's the earth spirit of the earth. But one of the characters, I don't remember if you remember this or not, but John Constantine was actually introduced in Swamp Thing.
No, I think I think like I said, the last one that I read would have been a bit before that.
So probably like during Bernie Wrightson's run.
Like I said, I was a kid. I just
Okay.
remember I liked it.
Yeah. But anyway, you know who John Constantine is,
Yes.
obviously. Okay. The guy who plays him on Legends of Tomorrow, that meh show on the CW,
Mhm.
Matt Ryan, who absolutely embodies that character fantastically. I really like his John Constantine. And I was really upset when they canceled the Constantine TV show, but then I was really happy when they brought him back on that
On the
show.
other show.
But I'm like, he needs his own show, or he needs to be involved in something that really fits that character. He's actually expressed he wants to play John Constantine on the new DC Swamp Thing show, and I'm like, I'm down, man. That would be if they go dark with that's a comic book movie that TV show or
That
movie that you can go dark with.
yes, that
That
should be.
it should be.
Well, I won't say it always has been. Apparently, there was a while that they kind of got
It got goofy.
yeah. So, but yeah, and it's
Yeah.
more original incarnation. It was far more creepy.
Yeah, and that's a show that I'm 110% down with them making it like dark as crap. And if they do, they need to have Constantine show up at least at some point, and it needs to be Matt Ryan. I really, really like the way he does Constantine. His Constantine is perfect. So, little bit of hope that maybe the people who are in charge over there are listening, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, you know, if we have a Constantine episode, let's bring this guy in for it."
Subscribe to comic book Bob's channel. Listen to him. Come on, guys.
Yeah, yeah, that'll happen. Yeah,
You never
never.
know.
Unless there comes like hey, you know, that guy's kind of making a little bit of sense there. Who knows? Maybe they get high sometimes and just cruise around. It's like, let me find the least viewed channel I can possibly get my hands on. But
Let's go
no,
with
man,
this.
I'm really wanting that to be a thing, man. Because, like I said, when the Titans show came out, I was like, this is a piece of crap, and I didn't have a whole lot of hope for anything else that they were doing. And then the Doom Patrol came out, and I actually enjoy it. It's actually pretty cool. It looks cheap. Let me make that very clear. The show still looks cheap as crap. It needs they need to really do some serious budget work on that TV show.
But then again, that could also ruin it because sometimes once they're like,
Yes,
"Oh, we have money to do this now. We don't have to be creative."
See, that actually, I think that's kind of part of the charm of the show is that it doesn't look like it's thrown together. It just looks like they realize, look, we don't have a big budget.
This is what we
This
can
is
do.
what we've got. This is what we can do. But what we can do is we can do these characterizations of these characters really, really, really well. Like Robot Man looks like bad cosplay, but he acts awesome, dude. And Brendan Fraser doing the voice for him is equal parts smart ass. And then, but then when the scenes where like there's real character drama and pain, you could hear it in his voice, dude. Like he realizes he screwed his life up. You know, and then you have the person they have playing her and the way that they do her personalities for Crazy Jane is really, really good as well. Pretty much everybody, even the version of Cyborg that they have on that show is the version that they should have had in the movie.
Okay.
Like they got the guy playing, like he looks like, again, looks like bad cosplay. But the guy playing Cyborg gets that character, hits that notes on that character better than the guy that played him in the movie.
Well,
and admittedly, the guy who played him in the movie was just doing what the script told him to do.
Yeah.
So the people who were actually writing the scripts for the show for Doom Patrol, they get who that character is better than than Zack Snyder.
And well, kind of what you're talking about, that it just reminds me of Doctor Who, because I know people that back in the day, used to rag on me for watching Doctor Who because yeah, they would put tinfoil on a box, put a switch and a light on it, and that's whatever it needs to be for the plot. And yeah, the effects were bad, or I should say, the effects weren't good,
Yeah,
but the stories and the acting were really good. And that
exactly.
and that's why you come back to the show every week. If you're just coming back for good effects, after a month, who cares anymore? I mean, you've seen them, and they can come up with new effects that are even bigger, better, louder, whatever. But that's not going to keep you coming back every
Right.
week, and it runs to a point where that's done. You,
Well,
you just don't have anything to step it up a bit anymore. So
yeah, I think that's a big problem with. I think that's one of the big problems with Doctor Who right now, in its current state, is just that the characters that they're bringing in, they're just not that compelling, and they're just not that interesting, and they're hoping that special effects are going to kind of
it's not
bridge
going
the
to work.
gap, and it's not going to work. It doesn't work for a character like that. But yeah. Speaking of, so yeah, Doom Patrol, check it out, and keep your fingers crossed for Swamp Thing. Hopefully that turns out. But speaking of Zack Snyder's Justice League, Zack Snyder started a whole new mess of drama, man. He basically, so one of the biggest complaints about Zack Snyder's DC film universe that he started is how dark it is.
Yep, literally
And
dark,
literally that, not yeah, figuratively and
and
literally dark.
literally,
Like, it's dark, but also the big thing that he really gets a lot of flack on is Batman killing people. And I can't remember if we talked about this last week or not, of the last episode or not.
even if we do we have to again. Batman doesn't kill people.
Batman doesn't kill people. So basically, apparently,
Superman doesn't kill people.
yeah,
I mean, people happen to die in some of the situations that happen around them,
yeah.
but they do not kill people.
I had probably a 3-day long argument with a guy over this. He's a Snyder fan, which, look, if you're a Snyder fan, if you're okay with the way he put things there, I don't have a problem with that. That's on you. I'm glad you found something you enjoyed. But as a lifelong comic book fan, and especially a Batman, I'm a Batman guy. Batman doesn't kill people, and it's not a choice. It's ingrained into him. That's what they don't seem to understand. This is not a choice that Batman has. This is like this.
Well, actually, I saw a really good thing recently about this, and I was like, this makes a lot of sense. Batman now is kind of portrayed as having PTSD. He
Mhm.
saw his parents murdered, and it messed him up, and this is his way of. Batman saw his parents murdered in front of him and decided to do something about it.
Yes.
And part of it is he's not going to go out and be the guy that killed somebody that's going to traumatize somebody else.
That's exactly. That's a big
He's
part of it.
Yeah, he is determined that he doesn't want others to go through this. He will capture them, he will put them in jail, beat the tar out of them, but he's not going to kill people.
Yes.
So
The whole thing is this. It's not a choice with him. It's ingrained into his being. This is the same thing as like when I say, like, I have a serious situation with the way Dan Slott used to write Peter Parker. Peter Parker, because of what happened with his uncle and the what it did to him, he cannot stand by and allow anybody to suffer. He can't do it. He has to do something about it. It doesn't make any difference if the person is one of his enemies. He will risk his life to save one of his enemies.
yes.
Okay, and it's not a choice. It's just he just does it. It's instinct. It's ingrained into who he is. So when they had that storyline during that whole Spider Rock storyline, which that's a whole nother discussion, and he chose to save himself over another person. That's when I was out of that storyline. I was like, no, he can't do that. He can't do that. It's not who he is. And the same thing applies to Batman. Batman cannot kill someone. He can't bring himself to do it. The Joker even says as much in the Dark Knight Returns. And I mean, not the Dark Knight Returns. In the Dark Knight, he says, I don't want to kill you, and you can't kill me.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the reason why the Joker is such a dangerous enemy to him, is the Joker understands him. The Joker's like, look, he's not going to kill you. He just won't do it. He's and how many stories have they done where they actually had said that, where Batman's like, I'm going to kill you, and the Joker's like, if you could do that, this would have been
done a long time ago.
Yeah, it's but apparently Zack Snyder got ticked off with people getting mad at his, upset with his version, and he just went off. He just went freaking off on people, and he just started insulting them and everything. And I'm like, oh well, we broke Zack. And it's his little rebuttal about the whole thing. It really sparked a lot of reaction from not just from fans, but from creators. But one of the things that he said, he says, if you're one of those people that says my heroes didn't commit atrocities, that's cool, but you're living in an effing dream world.
Well, it's a dream world that has existed for the past 80 years.
And I'm like, dude, it's a comic book. It's exactly what you just said. It's a dream world. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think the dude's just upset that people didn't like what he did, and he just,
yeah,
he wants to be right. But hey, sorry, man. Better luck next time.
I do have a quick question for you, though, Rob.
Okay.
About the show tonight.
Yep.
You were supposed to do some homework. Did you do it?
Probably not, because I was sick. I don't even remember what the homework was.
Oh, well, you're the one that told me about it. Was the top 5?
Oh, yeah. No, we're gonna have to save that for next show.
Okay, good.
Dude, I was so sick. Oh my God. I told you, I literally went to the ER. I tried to meathead my way through it for the first couple of days, but then I woke up on the third day. I'm like, I can't breathe. So I'm going to the hospital.
Well, it's a good thing because I have a top 17.
Okay. You need to whittle that down a little bit, man.
I have a top 5 with 12 very, very, very honorable mentions.
Okay, I'll let you have 1 or 2 honorable mentions, man. But we can't do a show with 17 top 5s. That's insane.
I was only going to discuss the top 5, but I have like 12 honorable mentions that I was just going to.
Oh, you can mention all. You can say, well, and other ones that were really close were this. That's fine, but man, ain't no way we're talking about 17 books.
Oh yeah, we don't have to discuss everyone, but
yeah. But anyway, so that's pretty much all I got. You got anything for this week, man?
I don't think so. Not anything else right now. So.
All right. Well, cool.
Been a slow week.
Oh my God, we've actually got people in the chat here. Hang on. I'm sorry. I didn't even notice. I didn't get a notification that anybody came in. What the hell?
So what do we got?
We got Lorenzo Sleestack. Came in, said hi to him. Thanks for being here, Lorenzo. I appreciate it, man. Tweet it out if you can and whatnot. We're actually about ready to wrap up here, but yeah, man, I appreciate it. And also Abe Sapien stopped in. He said hi. I meant to say something to him earlier, but yeah, the indicator that's letting us know that people are jumping in here did not go off. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I've seen nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
I don't
said,
even know where to look though.
I
So I
opened
mean,
up. I thought there might be a problem with it after I saw the Ape Sapien thing because I wanted to check and see if our feed was coming in right. So I actually dropped into the chat myself to look and see the channel on a different. I checked it out. God,
you
I'm
look at
sorry.
stuff.
I'm still a little sick. I'm having a hard time talking today.
Oh wait, I found it. I found a chat thing. It says
Yeah,
there's one person in it right now.
yeah. So Lorenzo Cisak said Batman used to kill people when the character was introduced, but that was before his character was fully developed. That's true. When he first, like, I remember that big panel that they used to show where he came he came swinging in and he actually kicks a guy in the back of the neck and breaks his neck. But you're right. That was before the character was fully developed. That was when he was actually introduced. At that point, they were kind of doing the shadow kind of thing where he was like a more like a pulp character and whatnot. But once they fully developed his character, they're like, yeah, the killing's off the table. He's done. And just over the decades, they've developed that character to like explain why he doesn't kill people. And it is just like I said, it's not a choice with him. It's literally ingrained into his being. So I mean, like I said, I appreciate the people who liked Zack Snyder's movies and stuff. One of my friends that I talk to all the time, Mike Watson, he's a huge defender of those movies, and I get it, man. And I'm not one of those guys that gives people crap for liking something. You know, I want people to find things that they like and that they find joy in. But for me, it flies in the face of who that character is. To me, it felt too much like Zach was trying to turn the Justice League into the Watchmen.
Yeah.
Which
I
Watchmen, again, that's actually a movie he did that I actually liked. A lot of people gave him a lot of crap for Watchmen. I actually liked Watchmen. I understood why people didn't like it because, again, being a comic book guy, being a purist, you don't like it when people change the things you like, especially when you don't see the reason for it.
And that's when I completely see the reason for that, because just for the time constraint.
Yeah.
Because there is so much in The Watchmen that to do it in a movie like that, you would probably have to have 3 to 4 3-hour movies, because that was a hell of a plot they had in that. I mean, it was.
Oh yeah.
It was
well, also, like, one of the big problems that a lot of people had with it was the way they changed him. It was like, look, man, a giant purple Cthulhu monster. A lot of people are going to see that, and they're just going to be like, "What the hell is this?" You know, I understand not liking the way that they changed it, but I also understand why he changed it. That's also one of those movies we were having a discussion over Twitter a few days ago over movies that we felt were perfectly cast. That's a movie that I feel was perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Like every single person that was in that movie fit that character perfectly. Right. Actually, Lorenzo said there could be another Earth somewhere with a Bruce Wayne who kills people, but that shouldn't be the main Batman. That's true. And actually, they're doing that storyline right now. That's they're doing that miniseries, The Batman Who Laughs. And there's a character he's basically a Batman version of the Punisher. And he's called the Grim Knight.
That's kind of frightening.
Oh yeah, he's a terrifying. Again, he's actually a bad guy in the book, but it's basically Batman that we know, but he was not afraid to use guns and kill people, and that's what he does. So that's actually a pretty interesting book right now. I've been reading that. It's another one of those books where I do have issues with the characterization of how they're doing Batman, because I don't think Batman is not a character that you want to deconstruct to too great of an extent, because you start deconstructing him, you start to break him.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems that I have with Tom King's Heroes in Crisis. Is he's deconstructing all these superheroes, and it's really got me concerned because it looks like he's going to Wanda Maximoff Wally West. What I mean by that is Brian Michael Bendis did the Avengers Disassembled storyline back in the early 2000s. And what he basically did is he took Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch, who was a hero, And he basically broke her down to the point where she basically had a mental crisis. And she pretty much ruined everything and destroyed everything because of it. And I get the weird feeling that that's kind of what they're doing to Wally West in that book, and I'm not a fan of that. So, but like I said, Batman is one of those characters that you can't break him down too much, because if you do, you break the character. But yeah, Batman Who Laughs is interesting. It's definitely worth a look, Lorenzo, if you get a chance to. But yeah, other than that, well, like I said, for next week we're going to do our top fives, and Tom's going to do his top 5 plus 17 more.
It's plus 12, top 17.
Yeah, okay, whatever, man. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to this week. I appreciate everybody who stopped in. Lorenzo, thanks for stopping in, man. If you enjoyed this, we'll be doing this again next Thursday.
Thursday.
I'll be doing next Tuesday. Next Tuesday. I'm sorry, dude. Like I said, I'm sick, man.
It starts with a T, so close enough.
I'm gonna try and get back to doing drawing videos as soon as I can. My fingers almost healed up, so dude, I just had a bad week. Oh my god, everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. But I appreciate it.
Through, so.
Yep. Also, if you like the channel, if you like the stuff that we were talking about, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, tell your friends about it, and we will see you guys.
And if you want to talk, if you want us, anything you want us to talk about, go into a little bit deeper, go ahead, let us know.
Oh yeah, drop it in the
ideas are always good. So
yep. Go ahead and drop it in the comments, man. Appreciate it. And you guys take care.
And see you later.